The border is a symbol for the other borders, which I think are much more dangerous. I always talk about the borders of the heart being the most difficult ones to cross. When we're seeing that being played out in so many different ways, in words and expressions of anti-immigrant and hatred, you know, that the borders of the heart are becoming harder and harder to cross. Well, the Casa Migrante was founded in April of 1987. So doing the math, you realize we're celebrating 30 years of service. And during the course of those 30 years, we've served about 250,000 people. For the first 20 years or so, we were taking care of migrants who were coming from the South with the hope of crossing over to the United States. Then around 2007 is when it became very difficult to cross, and they began to put a lot of different operations along the border, and they began the serious deportation of people. So for the last 10 years or so, 90% of our work has been with deportees.
Listo. O sea, yo tengo 35 años en Estados Unidos haciendo mis taxis y todas esas cosas, ¿sí me entiendes? Entonces, como por decir así, yo me siento más americano que mexicano. Haz de cuenta que lo echan en un pozo, está uno ciego, no sabe uno para dónde correr, porque en realidad es mi México, pero no sé moverme, ¿entiendes? O sea, toda mi familia, todas mis cosas están en Estados Unidos, ¿sí me entiendes? O sea, no se puede hacer nada.
My name is Luis Vargas Salazar. I received the certificate of recognition by Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel, and let me read it for you. In recognition of your service during the period of the Cold War, September 2nd, 1945 through December 26, 1991, in promoting peace and stability for this nation, the people of this nation are forever grateful. Thank you for deporting me.
My name is Hector Barajas Varela, and we're in Tijuana, Baja California, what we call the Deported Veteran Support House, the bunker. And I served in the U.S. military from 1995 through 2001 as a legal permanent resident. I served originally, I signed up for 4 years, and I re-enlisted for another 3. Originally I had orders to go to 44th Med, and I volunteered to go to airborne school, so I ended up serving with the 82nd Airborne. And basically put my life on the line, jumping out of airplanes during peacetime and doing a lot of airborne operations. I did serve, I'm considered a wartime veteran because I served during 9/11, and in 2001 I was honorably discharged. After my military service, because I was not an American citizen in the current law, I got in trouble with the law. I went to prison for a discharge of a firearm into a vehicle, and basically I was, after I finished my prison sentence, I was put in a detention center in Arizona, and I was deported a year later. In 2004, I ended up coming back to the United States, and I got caught in 2010. So the first time I got deported for 20 years, and the second time I got deported for life.
The faith aspect is something we see every day. It's, of course, what motivates me, because I've been a religious for almost 40 years, and For example, today in morning prayer we had the reading of multiplication of loaves and fishes, and that is the life here. They're literally the multiplication of loaves and fishes. And then even the migrants themselves, I think they always touch our lives. I'm always touched when a migrant's going to leave after he's been here for 2 weeks and gets a job and says, "Father, here's 200 pesos. I said, "It's not necessary." "I know, but I want to do my part. I want to help those who are coming behind me." And so that's also a moment of faith for us. When people don't have to pay, of course, they make a donation, that's great. And just saying thanks, you know, or men who will come back and just say, "Can I help? Can I do something? Can I sweep the floor?" or something like that. Those are all, I think, little acts of kindness and mercy that I call them acts of faith as well. And so I'm motivated by all these signs of God's life being very present here. From May 26th until basically January 26th, we've taken care of 2,000 refugees from 34 different countries. 65% of those refugees were from Haiti. You know, a lot of people come here because they want to go to the U.S. Sometimes they don't make it, so they stay here. And this isn't just with the Haitians. The Central Americans have been doing this for the last 4 years that I've been here. They get to here and they say, "Well, okay, it's not the best, but it's a lot safer here than in Honduras or Salvador, and you know, I can make some money here and send it back to my family." It's one of those things where the American dream becomes the Mexican dream.
A mí me deportaron hace 27 años. Dejé 6 hijos, 6 pequeños hijos. Su nombre es Pedro, Celia, Susi, Marcos, Esmeralda y Cintia. Yo vengo todos los domingos.
Ok. Acérquense poquito para hacer cierre aquí
A ver a las familias, porque yo quisiera que un día estar aquí con mi familia, con mis hijos, viéndolos a todos ellos. Aunque sea por aquí, por la barda. No importa si es un minuto, no importa si es una hora. Simplemente quiero tan siquiera verlos por ese muro que nos están dejando. Tan siquiera una vez, unos minutos. Es todo lo que pido, nada más. Que me hagan el favor de dejármelos ver. Las familias vienen aquí junto conmigo a ver a las familias, a ver a sus seres queridos, a ver a las personas que nos están separando. Porque el amor es grande y el amor une a todas las familias, así sean de allá o sean de aquí.
For us, a lot of us, even like the dreamers, we didn't really choose to go to the United States. We were taken there by our parents, but that's how that's the culture that we grew up with. We grew up with saying the Pledge of Allegiance and learning about American history, watching G.I. Joe, and for some of us, we decided to serve our country for a constitution, for laws that did not yet apply to us, and we chose to even, some of us to even die for that. So I think that shows more patriotism, because these are people that are, although not citizens, are willing to die for country and defend the Constitution. So I think that shows a lot more patriotism. That's how I feel about that.
until you actually live here, you can't understand what is life at the border, but it's really a beautiful mix of cultures. There's a lot of good stuff that happens in Tijuana. Unfortunately, all the bad stuff makes the newspapers, but there is a great community here. And again, I've seen the generosity of people accepting, that 20,000 Haitians have passed through Tijuana. And I don't know of any incidences really where there's been discrimination, xenophobia, any beatings or anything. We live in a day and age where to work for migrants, advocate for migrants is not the most popular thing. But even when I go and I preach somewhere and I'm invited to give a talk, I always have a positive response, because I try to put the human face on migration, Sure, it would be ideal if everybody had the right papers to stay in the United States, but sometimes that doesn't work out for whatever reason. But at the end of the day, these are human beings that we try to offer a bit of mercy and a chance to start their lives over again. And I think people get that, and that's why they respond,
Going home would mean a second chance at life again, at being a father again, having the opportunity to actually find a decent job that would pay pay a lot better, but mostly being a father, being able to take care of my daughter and being with my family, and a second chance at being a better person. I made my mistakes. I always point out that because people always say, well, you committed a crime. Well, yes, I made mistakes, but that does not make me, I think, less American. In fact, my service and the way I grew up and who I am and what I feel and who I'm willing to die for makes me more of an American than other people. So, so yeah, it gives me a second chance to go home and be with my daughter. That's the most important thing, I think, for me.
So there might be many new laws that will come out, many attempts to tear down the bridges and just build a wall, but I think there's something deeper here. There's a connection of economy, there's a connection of heart, there's a connection of culture, and I think as long as people have the right spirit, we'll be able to overcome all those obstacles and continue to be connected to one another. I think that's really important.